Welcome to Behind Them Sticks. This is your boy Ham Solo. I am with two guests today. We got two of them from the Xbox North podcast. That will be Dan and Joshua. We're missing a gentleman. What happened to him? He fall off the bus?
Well, Andrew is... So we've talked about it a lot on the podcast. He pursues an acting career and producing career, and he got a huge actually opportunity and got some funding for a project. So he's going to be pursuing that, and he's working with some people in different time zones. So he is like a night hawk now, and just sucked into that. So I will be taking over as host duty, which, we've kind of shared host duties here and there because he does get busy with this. So he'll be off the show for probably a couple months. Dealing with this project.
Yeah, hard work. As I said earlier in the green room when we were just talking a moment ago, big congrats to him. That's a big deal. Another, awesome piece to put on the resume for whichever direction he's trying to go with it afterwards. Hopefully it doesn't smoke him too much, because I know that kind of work, it takes a strong-minded person to be able to coordinate that much stuff constantly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially being a producer.
Oof. Yeah, absolutely. So you guys, welcome to the show. I'm gonna start out by asking you each pretty much the same question. But the first question is going to be, what gaming and social media platforms are you both on so people can find you? Let's start out with you, Dan.
Well, we're on Reddit. We're on We're on YouTube, of course. We're on Google Podcast. Yeah, Google Podcast and Instagram. So we're at Spotify and Google Podcast. For Xbox North Podcast, Reddit and Instagram for Xbox North Podcast, and then Twitter on North Xbox.
All right, and that's the info for the both of you then, huh?
Well, for me, you can also interact with me on Twitter. I usually am on there. Just look up Joshua James. I'm also tied to I haven't been using Twitter for that long, so seeing what my profile name is it's Josh North 88 on Twitter, so you can find me there.
You had to dig back into the encyclopedia and get the pages moving just to figure it out. He's like, I ain't even on Twitter that much, but when I turn it on, you can reach me there.
When I have it up, and I also man the Instagram and the North Xbox Twitter account as well.
So. Oh, awesome! So there is a way to get at you. If you need to. So that's fantastic. What consoles are you guys on? Obviously Xbox, because that is the name of your show. But do you guys dabble in anything else?
Oh yeah. Well, I got Xbox Series X. Got an Xbox One, and I got a PC. So I got that PC gaming in there, and I also got an Oculus Rift for it. So I've been playing some VR games too.
Nice. The Rift, man. You got the big bucks.
Well, yeah, I was actually very lucky. I had a friend of mine and my wife's, and they were just so generous enough to get it for me for Christmas one day. And
oh my goodness.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, brother, hit me up with them neighbors, man. I'll move to the other side. Yeah. I'll move to the opposite side of them, and we can get gifts every Christmas. That'd be fantastic. How about you, Joshua? What's up? What other consoles are you playing
on? I'm playing on the Series X. We do, you know what? I pretty much just play on the Series X and my phone. My wife, it's funny because I talk about. I not much on PC, even though my wife has a beefy Alienware PC downstairs, but she's using the Oculus Quest 2. So we have a bunch of stuff here. She has a Switch as well. So if I can pull the Switch out of her hands for the new Pokemon game, I'd be down for that. So
yeah, that's if you can get it out of her hands though.
Oh yeah, exactly. But yeah, we have a lot of toys here. It's fun.
Well, okay. Well, let me kind of steer it that way. What is she playing?
So
Since she's holding onto that Switch so tightly and you can't get it out of her hands, what has her so immersed into the game?
she's playing a lot of Stardew Valley right now.
Oh
Again.
Lord, I swear
And
to God. I swear to God, that is like, I mean, my lady
yeah,
plays that game. One of the last people I interviewed, their lady played that game. I don't know what it is with wives and Stardew Valley, but they just can't pull themselves away from it, man. It's a good game.
but what she's doing right now, I find is more interesting, and this has kind of helped her a lot. My wife deals with high level autism, and she's kind of gotten her life back because of VR, and she interacts with a lot of people and has a lot of friends through just like VR chat, and she streams it through the PC to the headset, and she's just up there just hanging out with a bunch of her friends right now, just socializing in virtual reality. So she lives that like life already right
Damn.
now, which is kind of interesting. So
That's
it's
powerful,
very
man. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
power of like just gaming in general. And I mean, like if you think about it, when we were young, we had consoles and stuff that we could play on, but the connectivity with others throughout the world was just not there. And now that it is there, it benefits more than just the casual person that just wants to play games. It benefits people into like being able to go out and meet people and hang out with those that they aren't able to see on a regular basis and stuff like that. So I mean,
Especially these
it is
times.
powered by Facebook, so I mean it's fairly easy to connect with
Well,
people from the get-go, but like tell me how she does it.
well, and do you have the Oculus Quest?
I have the
Two?
Quest 2, yep.
Okay, so what you should
Right behind me,
download,
yep, right there.
so what you should download if you have a good enough PC is it's like $20, I think. It's called Remote Desktop, and she remote desktop to her PC downstairs wirelessly, so she gets the high-end PC experience to her headset. So she goes onto VR chat most of the time, which you can play on Oculus, but it's way better streamed through the PC. But yeah, no, it's so cool. I'm playing though right now mostly Mass Effect again. So,
Okay, you say
I've
again.
been-
Did you beat it previously?
I beat that game a lot when it was on 360. Like a lot. And I even had it for PC back in the day because I wanted the better performance too. So
Dan, you
Yeah.
see the way he's laughing through his teeth right there. That kind of tells me that he has a problem with that game.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I get it because I have an issue with Ark Survival Evolved. So I get it when like people ask me,
Really?
they're like, how much time did you put in? And I'm just like, yeah,
A lot.
let's not embarrass myself about how much time I put into that kind of game.
Oh, you gotta look at my playtime for Halo 5 multiplayer. It
Oh,
is
Lord.
outrageous. It's like what, 29 days,
29 days.
something like that. Like it's outrageous.
That's kind of changed compared to my my time with Ark. My time with Ark is, especially the way that people look at Ark, my time's
Oh
embarrassing.
yeah. Are you excited for Arc 2? With Vin
Oh,
Diesel?
absolutely, man. I mean, I'm excited for Arc 2. I'm not sure if I'm excited for Vin Diesel. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm all about the family and everything. That's cool, you know. Like, and you know, trust me, I want some story in the Arc because I felt like that was the one thing that was lacking. Is it was like you're dropped on the Earth, you got a plethora of things that you can build, but why am I building this?
Mhm.
I mean, like, I'm building it
Yeah.
obviously to do boss fights and collect and be able to trade and stuff like that with other people. But I wish there was a little bit more of a tale behind my personal character that I had. Not that it has to be like Tomb Raider-esque, where it's like I know all the background about everything. I just want to be kind of like, I want to be able to make my own journey, but also have a set of things that I'm supposed to do. And in that game, it's not really like, other than doing the boss fights, you're not really supposed to do really anything particular. So I really hope that they kind of like really kind of relish in the opportunity to make a story. And now that we got like a character like Vin Diesel in it, like I'm hoping that they don't go to Sony interactive third person story kind of game. I hope it's still very open and you can do whatever the hell that you want, but if you wish, you can dive into the story and watch your character develop.
Yeah, some actual lore to it and everything. I played that a lot before.
Oh yeah.
I haven't played some of the more recent updates, but I played it way back when it first came out.
Oh, when it came out at first, man, it was such a good game, but a dumpster fire at the same time.
Oh yeah. So, and I think that's what the second one will be better, like a more stable engine. But you know what? Like Vin Diesel and his like step into gaming has, in my opinion, been really good. Like the Chronicles of Riddick games back in the day.
Ooh, yeah.
Are like some of the best games.
You're talking about early
especially
PlayStation and whatnot, yeah.
Yeah, like original Xbox and stuff, and PS3 and Xbox 360 when they came out with like the remakes and stuff.
Nice.
Those games. I love going through the prison system. So
yeah, it was so weird, but it was kind of good seeing him in the trailer. But it was also like almost out of place. Like I'm curious how many Fast and the Furious references they're gonna make throughout the game.
Oh my gosh, that's what I got, and I'm a little nervous about, because I just like I don't want it to be too much of a movie, but like I thought the trailer looked really interesting because it had him like he is like get behind me like I gotta.
There's a Paul Walker joke
gotta
somewhere.
Protect the family, right? So like I was digging that, and it was right in that time period of the whole family.
Man,
thing, so I thought it was hilarious.
If I can't get his knives from like Pitch Black and Chronicles of Riddick and everything,
oh man, that knife, yeah, like the fist knife where he's just like cutting people like that, dude. Those knives were serious, and I remember friends back when that movie came out. They were all trying to go to the knife stores and buy the knockoff knives and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Dude, if I see Paul Walker walk out in this game, I'm just gonna shut it off. I'll be like, no, too far.
They better
too far.
Yeah, they're like, I gotta take this. If this raptor isn't a 10-second raptor, I don't want it.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good. But anyways, so why is it that you guys are going by just your regular names? What made you do that instead of like creating something like I have created, like Ham Solo 5 to mask my real name? Was there a reason behind it?
Not really.
I don't think so. I think we just kind of like went with it.
You're just like, I don't care.
Yeah, like
Each
Andrew
other
says
by
your
our
real
names.
name in the first episode, and you're like, I guess we're going by that. Yeah.
So it was just like, whatever, and you just kept it moving, didn't care.
Yeah, and I've had a bad experience with my gamer tag in the past because like I ended up changing it to what it is now, so I'm Shanks Muchley. But yeah, in the past it was a very I didn't get into too much social media or anything with it, and I was gonna do some streaming and everything, so I looked into the name a little more, make sure nobody else had my stuff. And it turns out there was a very adult like Twitter account that was doing some furry stuff, and I was like, no, because my old
I think I
gamer
gotta
tag
change
was
the name.
yeah, it was Kind Wolf, and it's like Scottish, and it's just like it's Gaelic.
Of course, I went to a
ancient.
furry thing, right?
Yeah, because I was really young, and of course it was like, and yeah, I never expected the furry thing. And then another one was like some Russian guy had the same name too, so I was like, all right, I gotta change this
You're
and
like,
get out of here.
I'm done with this name. I'm just gonna use my regular name because I know that's not gonna be too crazy for somebody to type in later.
I'm not gonna have to change that one.
Right. All right. Well, I mean, how about you, Joshua? What's your kind of take on that?
You know what? The last name I use on here is my middle name. So, and I like the two kind of first names on here. So Joshua James, it just sounds good in my opinion. But my gamer tag on Xbox is like from when I made it when I was in like grade 8. So it's like an 18-year-old gamer tag.
That's dope.
So I have that nice 18-year-old stamp on my gamer tag on the Xbox, but it's False God. So, I was the edgy, 8th grader in Catholic school.
Oh Lord, you were in
That's
Catholic
Lord,
school,
yeah.
dude. Oh my goodness. That's rich right there. In
Yeah,
Catholic
it's still the
school,
same
and you
thing.
put false God.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty.
I was
damn
that
funny.
kid who dyed his hair blue, and the principal was just like, "Could you just, I don't know, like not do that?" I was
Right.
like, mm.
Yeah.
Doesn't say I can't.
Yeah.
Right.
Growing
You're
up
like,
in
I'm
the,
just-
the city of Toronto, right?
You're like, I can't wait to toss some more shade to you. I know that you don't like this, and I'm purposely gonna make you uncomfortable about it. I remember those kind of days. They were fun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, moving forward, I kind of want to know, Dan, you first. What was your most prize possession console of all time?
Most prized possession console. That's a good one. I'd have to probably say the N64 for me, because it was one of the first big consoles that my parents got for us, and had a lot of good times. And GoldenEye 007 and Perfect Dark and everything with my brother growing up. So yeah, it was. We had a crazy little fort down in our basement. It was just under the stairs. And we had all these little tiny pieces of foam furniture and everything. So we had our own little fortress under there where we had a little TV set up and Nintendo and everything. So it was good.
Yeah, man, I always bring up the laptop gun whenever I hear Perfect Dark because it was the best gun ever in that game. It was a turret dash machine gun, and it was just so freaking unstoppable. It was so good to piss off your family members or other friends that you'd have come over, and they just be essentially just stuck all the time if you could just refill on ammo on that over and over and over. How about you though, Joshua? What's going on with you, bro?
I'd say it's probably my most cherished console. I'd probably say the first console I ever got was my most cherished console, the Super Nintendo. Which is funny because I got it for Christmas from my mom's boss, and I'm like, why is your boss giving us a Super Nintendo? But that's other theories in my head.
Yeah,
right?
You're right.
It's just
It's
weird, right? Never got a straight answer, but it's just weird. So I'd say the Super Nintendo, because that's what got me to love gaming. Me and my sister played Mario Paint, that fly game where you're slapping the flies and stuff, and the console we got came with the Super Mario All-Stars, so it had every single Mario game in it. So I just remember sitting down with my sister playing video games through that. So I'd say Super Nintendo definitely is my phone. A close second is N64. I'd say that's when things got competitive, with your friends. Right?
Yep, GoldenEye, and having the 4 controller port on the front of that.
Oh, yeah.
Just changed the game, man. On how
Never sure which handle you're supposed to use on the controller.
Yeah, man, just bouncing back and forth between the joystick and the D-pad. That was awful. And
yelling at screen watchers, stop watching my screen. I think that's what N64 invented, the stop watching my screen.
Yeah, fair enough. Yep. Yeah, definitely, especially because you could have 4 players on there, so you could always kind of just pick who you wanted to watch, and nobody had any idea you were looking at them because you're just looking forward from what it looks like, but you're tilting your eyes over to the side, looking at somebody else's screen.
Just I know you're coming around.
They're about to come right around this corner. I'm gonna fuck them up. Yeah, so I remember that shit. That was definitely some good times. So those are your guys
online, right?
Oh yeah, way before online. Because once online actually hit and really got popular, multiplayer games started to get scarce, and especially games that you would, couch co-op or couch games in general just started to get way more scarce. A lot more single player games were coming out, and some of them. I mean, there were a lot of masterpieces for single player games, but I remember once I got I want to say Xbox 360, I noticed I was not playing with near as many players on the same console as I did with the Xbox, PS2. I mean, PlayStation 2, you could go out and get one of those adapter cords and have the weird little L-shaped thing. And get 4 people. Well, that was the PlayStation 1 was the L-shaped one. The PS2 was like a brick. And it had the 4 connectors on it. And then the 1 connector that went into the actual console itself. But I remember just getting down really hard on PlayStation 2 and Xbox with multiple friends and whatnot. And then once I got to the 360, it was just multiplayer online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you remember it by yourself,
Yeah. The LAN parties were the best.
Yeah, LAN parties were the best for sure. Old Mario Kart parties. Man, we used to have parties where we'd every lap you would drink or something like that. You'd have to finish your beer and then do your next lap. And
our internet cafes, man.
And my stomach those? Right here would wreck people because I just slammed the beer and then nailed the lap. But yeah, I mean, there was all different kind of little mini games that you could make out of having a 4-player game.
Oh yeah.
Really awesome.
We used to do that all the time.
Yeah, we used to do Mario Kart drinking, and it was do Rainbow Road, and every time you fall off the road, got a drink. You couldn't make it to the end of the round.
Disgusting. Sloppy.
That's an interesting one. Yeah. I don't know. I might drive off the cliff a couple times just so I can drink.
He's he keeps on driving off the drink. He keeps on drinking. Yeah. That's why.
I was a cocky person when it came to when it came to Mario Kart. Sometimes, especially if I knew I was playing someone that was going to take an L really easily. I'd crack open a beer once I get there, put that beer away, and drink half of another one and be all right, you're getting close. I'm ready to go again. And I'd torture them because I'd get right behind them, and you're always going to get the better prize if you're in second or third or something like that. So I'd just do that, wreck them a couple times, maybe save up a couple things, kick it back at the finish line, slam my beer, and keep moving. It was fun. Good times. But here's a really fun one that we're about to do, question-wise. I do this every episode. Without overthinking, and I want you guys to trample each other if you have to. I don't care. Without overthinking, what's the first game that comes to mind when I say the console? Okay? So I know Super Nintendo was your first console, Josh. But Dan, what was your first?
First console ever was the original Nintendo. So NES.
All right. So I got a little bit of a bag.
No, so I didn't own it myself, but that was the first one that I played at my grandma's house.
Fair enough. So you remember a lot of stuff from that era all the way to now.
Yep.
All right. So this will be interesting. All right, so the very first console that I'm going to bring up is Sega Genesis.
Yep. Sonic. Just so many different little games because we had a Genesis back in the day. Oh, man. There's, I remember we had, I'm trying to because I was so young at the time. It was I had a mix of the NES and the Genesis going all the time. And most of the time we just had Sonic. But I know we had some other ones. I remember playing Echo the Dolphin at my friend's house.
Yep.
I remember trying to bring them up. It's I keep thinking of NES games. I'm Double Dragon. I used to play Crystalis and but
Sonic. You'd say Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic.
Yeah.
How about you, Josh?
For Genesis, Sonic and Knuckles, specifically that one. I always
the one with the pop
symbol.
Open top.
Yeah, and that the symbol of the Sonic face and the Knuckles face
intertwined
together. Yeah, when I think Genesis, I think specifically Sonic and Knuckles.
That's a badass
and you know
game.
what? Surprisingly enough, the 7-Up game. Do you remember the 7-Up game?
No, I don't. What the hell is that?
You were you were the little red disc from 7-Up in the logo.
Oh my god.
And I played that on Genesis. I remember playing that on Genesis.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That sounds like a game my cousin would own because his dad worked for Pepsi. So they got they got a lot of weird stuff and games. Like I'd visit them in Florida and they'd always have something unnecessary in their house from Pepsi because they'd get it free because they worked there.
Yeah.
So man, I bet I played that game over there and just don't even remember.
Yeah.
But anyways, moving on to the next console, I want to bring up the original PlayStation. Let's go first with Josh.
It's for me, Chrono Cross. Chrono Cross.
That's a classic.
That was one of the few games I had a PlayStation 1, like the tiny one. And I remember being in store and picking up Chrono Cross and seeing like the character on the front cover with like the dual sword. And I'm like, I need this. Like, I need this game. It's multi-disc. Multi-discs was cool. Like when you picked up that old PlayStation 1 game and it was like picking up a little cheeseburger and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, look at like the 3-4 discs in this. I'm going to spend the rest of the year on this guy. But yeah,
like a
Chrono
sucker
Cross.
like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I
This
see
is
your
Shenmue.
class. Oh, there you go. But yeah, Chrono Cross, 100%.
All right, Dan.
I never actually owned an original PlayStation, but I did play a little bit over at some buddies' houses and stuff. So it was Solid Snake for me.
Ooh, that's a classic. Good one.
Yeah.
Good one. Some Metal Gear.
Yep. A little bit
Gotcha.
Metal Gear. Yep.
All right, let's move just barely forward to another generation, and this might be a stickler. The Dreamcast.
Never had the Dreamcast,
Yeah.
but I can
I've
tell you
actually
a
never
game I
played
played
one.
a lot of that. Soul Calibur.
Got one. And
That's
then
what I'd
Dan,
say.
you're just completely out of sight, out of mind.
I think I saw one in a Walmart once.
Oh goodness gracious! Moving on. All right, moving on.
Blasphemy. That console is great, but you know what? No, the Dreamcast was an amazing console.
It
God.
was amazing. It
I always
was
wished I
just
had one.
So short-lived, like so many other Sega consoles. So short-lived. All right, let's go to something a little bit more popular around that generation and pull out the GameCube.
Oh yeah.
Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube.
That's
such, like, a
where it
family-
originally came out.
Like, oh, I know, but I just mean like, like out of all the games on like the family friendliest console, it's like
Yeah,
a little
right?
cute colored cube. Josh is like, yeah, horror games. Horror games.
Yeah. Resident Evil 4, easily.
I'd have to say Mario Party.
Oh, okay, so he's going family friendly. He's like, Josh is crazy.
Yeah, my buddies always used to just get together, you know, Mario Party, Smash Bros. Like, oh, probably Smash Bros more than Mario Party, but
Yeah, Smash Bros. Melee.
Yeah, Melee was super good game. That's when
I just-
Roy was
I-
out. I used to use the hell out of Roy.
I remember being like super hyped for Resident Evil 4 though. Like they showed like this tech demo before the GameCube came out, and there was just like this kind of like weird like hype to it. And then it finally came out. It was dope.
You know, I'm kind of with Josh a little bit in this area because my most memorable game from the GameCube was a horror game as well. It was called Eternal Darkness.
Oh yeah.
That game was
That game messed with you.
fantastic. Yeah, it did mess with you. It was that game was messy, and I was young when I played that game, so I was freaked out and everything. But it was still a fantastic experience, and some of the puzzles in it were really cool. I don't think if I had that game, I'd enjoy it as much just because of technology. But definitely a great game for its time, for sure.
I hear they're making a spiritual successor to that. Like I hear it was a company, Silicon Knights, made that, right? The guys who made like Two Human and stuff like that. I hear they're making a spiritual successor for that, so you might have something to look forward to.
Ooh, that'd be hella interesting. I wonder if it'll stick to a Nintendo platform. I highly doubt it for some reason.
Yeah.
I just
Good.
don't feel like this. Yeah, right. Because I mean, I don't
It's
want
like
to play this.
1440p stuck on a handheld. That
Yeah, I don't want to do that on my Switch. I got The
Yeah.
Witcher 3 on my Switch, and that was a bad idea.
Your wife
No,
will
it's-
be like, "Why are you?" He's like, your little daughter's like, "Why are you under the blankets?" He's like, "Oh man, this Switch horror game, it's got me
Right?
going."
Yeah. All right. So next console we're going to talk about is going to be the Xbox 360.
Not even the original, huh? You're skipping.
might go back
You're
to it.
skipping Dreamcast 2.0.
I love that you said that because that's how I like to look at Xbox as kind of like the successor of Dreamcast. It kept it moving. But anyways, yeah, 360. Whoever wants to go, just shout.
Probably Oblivion.
That's a good
Elder
choice.
Scrolls.
Good
Yeah.
answer. It's a good answer.
Came out with the console and everything. I love all the Elder Scrolls games ever since Morrowind, because I didn't get to play them before that. But as soon as I played Morrowind, I was hooked on them. I've spent way too many hours in those.
Lots of story, man. There's a lot of story there. Josh.
Xbox 360.
Yes, sir.
I'd say the is it cheating saying the Mass Effect trilogy? But the Mass Effect.
No,
trilogy,
I wouldn't say so because they all came out on that console and they kind of run together in a way.
I would say that, and a close second is Halo 3 for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say Halo 3.
Halo 3, yeah.
I mean, I'm happy you guys didn't say that though, because I got that in a lot of my other episodes and whatnot. So it's pretty refreshing hearing something else. But keeping it moving, let's go back to PlayStation 2.
PS2. Devil May Cry 3.
Fantastic
Game.
freaking game.
Oh man, they got it so right in Devil May Cry 3 too.
Oh yes, I just love that game, from being able to go from a sword to shooting your pistols, and like just the animations for that were insane. Was that the Devil May Cry where you're like running around in like somebody's arteries?
It was the like prequel one where you're playing like the younger Dante, in it. I don't remember if you're going through like the arteries or something, but I just remember I liked his like younger like attitude, and just like the action was really good. Yeah, definitely Devil May Cry for PS2 era for me.
All right, how about you, bro?
I've honestly, the only PlayStation I've ever owned is I had the PlayStation Portable and the PlayStation. No, it's just the Go, the PSP Go.
Yeah, so yeah.
I was gonna say the Vita. I'm like, I never owned the Vita. I had the PlayStation Go, and but for the game, the most memorable one for me is honestly Simpsons Hit and Run. My buddy had that game.
That's a
I
good-
didn't see
yeah,
that
that's a
coming.
good one. That game was so good, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, man.
It was way
was
better than I
hilarious.
expected it to be, and like it was way more addictive. Like we honestly played it for hours, just driving around, like trying to run people over and stuff.
I felt
I love just going through and seeing like real life, because Simpsons was huge when we were younger, and just seeing like a realized Springfield like in 3D was awesome.
yeah, it was
Just
pretty
Getting to
crazy.
explore it.
It gave me Crazy Taxi feels when I
Yeah.
played
Yeah.
that game. Just kind of like the way that the vehicle reacted when you turned and moved and did like these little ramps. It just felt very arcadey and really
Oh, yeah,
easy to
yeah.
play. But of course, I gotta now, because you guys are the Xbox North podcast, I gotta ask about the Xbox, the OG.
I would say
So-
Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
there's so
solid.
many good titles for that console. Oh, a Jet Set Radio Future. Heck yeah.
Yes, that they ended up making that like a 2-game eventually with Sega GT.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember that bundle. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that
Um,
bundle. I played the hell out of it.
Halo 2. I'd probably say Halo 2. I played the most of Halo 2, and that was such a unique it came out with like map packs and stuff that you could buy on a separate disc. I felt with like Halo, yeah, I'd say definitely Halo 2 comes to mind is the most memorable. It's funny because you think like you'd say Halo is the most memorable for all of the Xbox console, but specifically Halo 2 was a game changer for sure.
Well, I mean, there was Xbox Live. Everybody loved playing as the Arbiter as well. That was really cool.
Yeah.
The story was just really, I mean, for the time, like if you don't look at the newer version of what they redone, how they did all the cutscenes differently and everything like that, that the first edition of cutscenes at that time was like freaking amazing, man.
They look great, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, now you play the Master Chief Collection and you can bounce back between the old one and the new one, and it's just like,
You're like, oh,
and you
wow,
get the
I was
old one, you're
impressed
like,
with this.
oh yeah.
Oh, shout out to Blinks the Time Sweeper though.
Oh man,
Oh,
so
yeah.
good. So really
Yep.
good one. And then you, Dan.
Yeah, for me it was honestly all the same ones Josh just mentioned, like KOTOR.
Oh yeah,
Halo 1 and
you
2.
said Oblivion.
Oh
Just
yeah,
a moment
Oblivion.
ago,
I
so you
played
already
Morrowind
went through that.
actually on the original Xbox too, and
Oh wait,
ended up
you said that for the 360. I'm tripping.
360. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, original Xbox. They did a port over for Morrowind though on there.
Morrowind.
Yeah, so I played a crap load of that, and Crimson Skies was one of my favorites.
Ooh, yes, that was a very colorful game.
Yeah.
Yeah, very colorful game, and I think that would be. I was actually talking about that game the other day. I was like, man, if they remade that game, it'd be absolutely jaw dropping.
It's funny. We were talking about this the other day, and we were thinking like, what would be the best studio to make a new Crimson Sky game? And it's easy. It's Asobo Studios, the guys who did Plague's Tale and Flight Simulator.
Lights in,
So you can give me
man.
like a cinematic third-person action game, and then incorporate flight into that game. They could make such a cool like combination of those two genres. I feel like they're perfect for, because there's that 50s kind of like it almost felt like Indiana Jones kind of like in the sky, but there was no third person kind of action. I could just picture that kind of world with that, so I'd love to see that. It's funny we were all talking about it recently, so
Yeah, that's really ironic. Now I'm gonna skip a generation and say the Switch.
I've only really played Breath of the Wild on there, and only a little bit.
Okay.
I want to get one though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I bought my Switch, and I swear, man, I still play my Xbox way more. That Switch, it's lovely. It's a great system. It does what I need it to do, especially when I'm out and about. But when I'm at home, the dock isn't good enough for me. It's just not good enough.
yeah.
But yeah, you, Joshua, go ahead.
I'd say same thing. Zelda Breath of the Wild. I actually played that on the Switch. Talk about like such a game changer, right? Like I feel like there's we're like pre and post Breath of the Wild, right? Everyone's just like, oh, it's their Breath of the Wild, like Halo Infinite. Oh, it's the Breath of the Wild moment for this game. Like I feel like open world games kind of changed after that, and it's funny because when you play Breath of the Wild, it is visually stunning, and then you play something like Pokemon, and you're like, just use that engine, please, just please. But yeah, the first game I think of is Breath of the Wild, for sure.
That's funny. He's like, it's just not good enough. You guys need to.
It's not there.
You guys need to add them specs. You need to bump them specs up. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed when I heard that they made a new Switch and all they did was put an OLED and a freaking network adapter on the back of the dock, and I was just like, well, I don't want that. I'm not buying that.
Yeah, and watch, a new one will come out like next year, and everyone will be pissed they bought the OLED version. So.
Right. Yeah. See, I didn't want to get played, so I just was like, I already don't play the one I got enough. So like I feel like I just need to wait until Nintendo does something that just like knocks my socks off or something like that.
Breath of the Wild 2, right?
Well, yeah, that sounds cool and all, but I'm talking about hardware, like or even software of some like xCloud kind of thing. That'd be pretty cool. Like if they hopped onto the cloud gaming and whatnot, but we'll kind of see what their plans are.
Steam Deck and like those, like at CES they showed like a bunch. Mind you, they're pretty expensive, but they're showing like those handheld Windows PCs. Like they're coming for them, and I hope the next Switch, because you know what, Nintendo found their groove. Don't make any more of these gimmicky consoles. Just honestly, just iterate on the Switch that you have, because you nailed it. Like, right? Like they are in today's world. What do we think of Nintendo? As more of a handheld console maker, right? So the fact that they can kind of have best of both worlds in one machine, like it's a no-brainer to just kind of keep on iterating on that idea, right? So
yeah, it's going to be really interesting. But the last one I'm going to talk about, which I've got to say again, like I said, you guys are the Xbox North podcast, so Series S and X, what do you got for me? What's the first thing you think of?
Series X and S.
And I'm going to slow you down real quick. I'm going to say whether it is out or not. What's the first thing that you think of when you hear Series S and X?
Honestly, because I keep getting ads for it too, it's Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I can't wait for that to come out.
Didn't see that coming either, bud. Man, you're hitting me upside the head with some shit I ain't expect.
I haven't even played it, but it's like that's all I'm thinking about right now.
Yeah, it was like, honestly, I was just scrolling through and like all my social media stuff. It's like it just keeps throwing that at me, because it's like, you want another Borderlands game, but this one even has like some D&D thrown in. And like I've never played D&D before, but I listened to some D&D podcasts, and so I enjoy it just the same. And I know some people that do play it, so
you're ready.
I'd say Forza Horizon 5 at this point right now.
I was just playing that before we started this.
Okay, why do you say that then, Josh?
Well, you're talking about the Series X, right? Not the Xbox One. Yeah. Well, it's because it was. I feel like it was the game that really justified Game Pass this generation, and I like 2000. You know what? Like so far, can I say Xbox Game Pass right now? Because I feel like that first year of the Xbox Series X has been so defined by by Game Pass, right? If there's a game, it would be Forza Horizon 5 easily, but the service this generation will be known for the services. So when I think Xbox Series X at this time, I do think Forza Horizon 5, but I cannot not say Xbox Game Pass.
Fair enough, because it is. I mean, like, there has never been anything to make me try things that I know that I'm not that into, and then finding out that I don't actually mind it. It's actually pretty good, or getting something that I thought I'd be into and being like, this is ass. Delete.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't have to spend any extra money on this. Thank God.
So that was us yesterday.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Josh, did you want to play some of the Anticrisis later or something?
No, I do not.
How many levels did we get through? We
got through like 5. Because we were taking recording for the podcast, so we're like, I guess we have to play this for at least an hour right now. So,
yikes! And you just did not jam with it.
Oh, dude, the frame rate can make a person sick.
Oh man, oil and water, those don't mix good. Yeah. All right, so now we got that section kind of cleared out. Good to kind of hear your answers. Dan, you threw me off the cliff with some of them. I didn't see them coming.
For Xbox One, I'd say Ori, though.
Ooh, he shoved a question in there. He's like, I want to talk about the Xbox One, damn it. Ori, Will of the Wisps. All right, Dan, you got to tell me which one then.
All right. Well, hell, why not Skyrim?
Skyrim?
Oh no,
Oh,
that's
man.
360. That was 360, bro.
Well, yeah, but they came out with several
But was
versions
it
since. I
just
think
the
they just came out with
Was
the
it just
version last year.
This
Still
like,
counts.
The better
It's like
one.
on
The
9
one that
different
ran
things.
good, you know.
All right, fine. Fallout 4.
There you go. That'll
I'll
work.
take it. I'll take it.
And actually, probably actually one of the best ones was I don't know why I'm
Red Dead
blanking on the name
Redemption
now.
2.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky was pretty good. I know they fixed it up pretty nice right when this generation of consoles launched. It runs really well now.
It's
I have
honestly one
about
of the
10
most
hours
fun
in it.
VR games that I play.
Ooh, never even thought of playing that in
Yeah.
VR.
Try it in
It's
VR.
crazy.
It's insane because you're actually sitting, like when you get into your ship and everything, you sit in the cockpit and you have to grab the controls and everything and use the joysticks like you should.
Ooh, we need to talk about that later, bud, because I want to
We're gonna
get
have to
into
play
that. That
some-
sounds great.
You have to play some VR online.
Yes,
Remote
we got to
desktop,
do
man.
that.
You gotta download that.
I'm gonna get it. But anyways, let's move on. The next kind of thing I want to know is, out of all of these different kind of games throughout the industry, which type of game or genre do you say that, like, I ain't touching this because I just don't really like to play that kind of game?
For me, I would say point and click adventure games. I don't know. I'm not into something that has so little gameplay to it. Like I was trying to play the Insomnia files, and I was just like, I'm like, one, how is this entire thing not voice acted? And two, like I just can't do it. I can't do it. So yeah, adventure, point and click adventure games are not my scheme.
Got it.
Fine.
Yeah, that sounds pretty boring.
I find the one that like I try the most to like as hard as possible, but like I just don't have the time for ever is MMOs. I try and get into them,
Yeah.
and like I think Destiny's the only one that's like casual enough that I got into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, can you not do like Diablo?
Like that's
Nice
just it. I can play
Diablo
them.
MMO? No,
I guess.
like
and,
World
like-
of Warcraft or
It's just it. Like I spent my time in it before, but like now, like as a dad and everything, I just it's impossible to have any time for it. I just put it right back down.
Yeah, I
How many
guess
times
I'm
have you
leaning
started
more-
Elder Scrolls?
Ooh. I know I've
I can
tried
pause
that
that
game
one.
twice. I've tried to start that game and I was just like I just couldn't play it alone. It was just too boring to
Yeah.
play alone and get into, but whatever, I guess. But so yours is MMOs and you are point and click adventures, not happening at all. So what kind of games are you guys like initially like excited when you see? Is it open world games, role playing JRPGs?
I would say first person games, not so much like first person shooters like Call of Duty and stuff like that. Halo obviously, but RPGs for sure. I really like JRPGs. I for some reason I'm putting myself through Final Fantasy 13 for some reason, but I'm putting myself through that. Very linear RPG for some reason. I
You
just
make it
can't
sound
put
like
down.
a fucking. You make it sound like a
13's
job.
kind of awful. 13.2, it's like I'm trying to get to 13.2 because 13.2 is actually pretty good. But yeah, I like JRPGs and shooters.
Okay.
First person games, yeah.
Open world RPGs for me.
Mm.
I'm all about open world RPGs. I'll play the crap out of just about any of them. I'm playing Breath Edge on like Game Pass right now too, and it's just like it's a silly, like just ridiculous game, but it's still fun.
It's
I
open
haven't got to
world
try
too,
that
right?
one.
Yeah, it's like a weird space game, and you're working for some. They make space coffins. Some company that makes space coffins, and like this big whole freighter crashed, and you're trying to stop the core from like going
Haywire.
and destroying you because you're like one of the only survivors. And so you're just going through and like people are like handcuffed to beds and stuff, and like it's all sorts of nonsense. You ride around on like a vacuum cleaner because it can push air through, and you carry a chicken around to like disarm electrical stuff.
Man, who the hell like?
It's a weird game.
What? It's just like somebody was like, bro, pass me the acid. I need to make a new game.
Oh.
Yeah.
He just dropped some acid and he's like, I'm writing a new game right now. And
And the-
you know,
and the
we're
controls
selling
are not-
coffins.
The controls
It's like,
are not
oh,
even
memories.
great either. But it's fun.
Oh man, that's great. All right, so best 3 games of this last year, 2021. Dan, hit me with your top 3 games.
Oh, we did this like just on our last episode, actually. So, yeah, mine. Gotta say, Halo Infinite, Doom Eternal, and probably Forza.
Okay.
For me, it was like, because we eventually get to games, just like he said, Doom Eternal. So Doom Eternal, Halo Infinite, and surprisingly Alien Isolation. That game was so good. Like, and it got the FPS boost like 5 hours. It was funny. I was 5 hours into the game and they're like FPS boost, and the difference, the contrast between the two, I was like, oh wow, this is really nice from 5 hours ago.
It must have been really cool to kind of be living in between that moment of, man, like this game's pretty good, but and then you see it again and you're just like, oh my god, this is fantastic.
What a scary game, man. Like, I've never felt so much. It was pretty much my game of the year, even though it didn't come out that year. It came out in like 2017. But the tension that game can build, like hiding in a locker and having the alien just kind of like stalk you, and just kind of like emergent things that happen. So like I'm hiding in a locker. There's this hallway I'm in, and I can see the other hallway like next to me there, and I can see a guy standing there. He's like walking down. I'm like, dude, why are you walking around here? I'm like, the alien is out. And then I just see the alien drop down and just like pounce on the guy. And I'm like, oh, he's dead. He's gone. And I'm like,
I'm not coming to the locker. I'm staying in
I was
here.
like, what a cool game. What a cool game. What a cool game.
That sounds pretty terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Really cool. How about I ask, like, of all the games that have kind of like been out, and you've seen a lot of games throughout your time of living and whatnot, but like, is there a studio that you like avidly kind of follow and you're just like, that's my studio because of this game? Do you have that kind of studio?
I feel like a lot of the studios, I would say, have like fallen from grace, right? Like, I'd be like DICE for Battlefield, fallen from grace. I'd be like BioWare, fallen from grace. Even like like BioShock, that Irrational doesn't even exist anymore. So I would say going forward, Playground Games, the guys who made Forza. I am so excited to see what they have in store, breaking into new genres like Fable. So I will give anything they touch a shot for sure. So Playground Games going forward, because like I said, everyone else has fallen from grace, right?
Yeah, man, you got to be kind of curious what's going to happen after, because Lionhead was the last one to do Fable, if I remember.
Yeah, right?
And they kind of got swindled into doing a Connect game that flopped really freaking hard.
Well, did you watch that documentary?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so they talked about how they're learning from that. And it seems like from them owning Mojang has really taught them how to kind of just let your studios do whatever they want. Do what they're passionate about.
Like,
and if they're
creative
artists,
freedom,
they'll make good stuff, right? So
yeah, like, why'd you hire him if you're just going to stand over him and tell him what to do the whole time?
Exactly.
That's bad management 101.
There you are. Right? Yeah, trust your team.
All right.
Except for Rare right now. Jesus, what's going on with you guys?
Oh man,
I was
they're
gonna
a
say
mess.
that.
Like,
They're a
except for
super
Rare,
duper
like,
mess.
what's going on with you guys?
Dan,
Rare's
what's up?
hilarious. Rare I've always liked because like GoldenEye back in the day, and of course Sea of Thieves was pretty good. But honestly, my two favorite studios are probably Gearbox and Bethesda.
Ooh, nice.
So Starfield, you're looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense because you really like Borderlands, and that is my Gearbox game right there, man. Borderlands 2 will like be one of the GOAT games for me of all time. Borderlands 3 was fantastic. I wish they did better on the story. I thought Borderlands 2 story was by far better with Handsome Jack.
So that's actually one of the funny things too is the one D&D podcast I was talking about earlier that I listened to. The guy who wrote Borderlands 2, his name's Anthony Birch. He hosts he's the DM for the podcast Dungeons and Daddies. It's like one of the funniest podcasts I've ever heard.
That's interesting. You might have to drop a link for me just to listen to that because I like listening to some podcasts, especially if they're kind of goofy.
Yeah. Oh, it's hilarious. You'll love it. Just listen to episode 1, and I guarantee you won't regret it.
All right.
One is my brother, my brother and me. That's a favorite right now.
Yeah.
Those guys are hilarious.
Yeah, those guys are hilarious too.
All right. Well, let me also kind of like, since you guys are saying that those are your kind of favorite studios, with that being said, is one of those studios coming out with your most favorite game this year, or the most excited game that you are looking forward to?
Yeah, Tiny Tina, I told you already.
Oh,
Jeez.
yeah.
And
My
Starfield.
But
this year, I would say most anticipated game for this year. It's Starfield because I feel like there's the most mystery there, right? Even though they're
Redfall.
Redfall. If Redfall can nail the looter shooter, not in like the Destiny kind of way route where it's like a shared world, blah blah blah. If they can kind of replicate what Borderlands 2 did with the vibe they gave us in the trailer there, I'm in. So yeah, I would say Redfall is probably definitely my most anticipated because of the mystery there, and Starfield. Those two, I know it's the Xbox, the natural choice that the Xbox North podcast would pick, but yeah, those two interest me quite a bit.
Okay.
Sure.
So what would the Xbox North podcast say as a collective, since you brought that up?
As a collective. Oof.
We're looking for
What's a
next?
game that you guys could all 2 or 3 agree on?
Fable. New Fable.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay, but that's down the line. That's not this year.
Oh, this
not
year?
quite this year.
I would say... Yeah, what would you say, Dan?
What one I am excited about is Dying Light 2.
Yes.
I was just watching like a new trailer for that and everything. That looks crazy good.
That's like 2 weeks away, right?
Yeah.
And you know what, Dan? We played so much like Dead Island back in the day in the first Dying Light.
Yeah.
So for the close future, yeah, man, Dying Light 2 next month, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Game Pass,
just a couple
please.
weeks away.
Phil Spencer, please.
That's what I'm.
I seen somebody say Sarah Bond's in the game. It's coming. The game.
Yeah, I saw that, right?
I was like, what the hell? I was like, that's a reach.
But you know
right
what? They
there,
did
but sure.
No, but didn't Microsoft give them some funding to kind of get them over the finish line a couple of years ago?
I thought so because that studio was like kind of messy for a little bit. They were having some
that game's
trouble.
been in development for a long time. But you know what? The first game still sells to this day. Like that game sneaks into like the top 20 every once in a while. Like it is one of the higher played games on Steam and stuff.
That
so the first game is
of that game, man. The rapport of that game. Just anybody that asks somebody how is this game, everyone's like, it's awesome. You got to try it before the new one comes out. I want to know the 2 games that you would go back in time to revive if you had the opportunity. And this can come from any generation, but I'm going to tell you that you cannot use the Xbox One, PS4 generation, just because that is cheating to me. I know you guys have a lot of games that you've played in your life, so don't give me that bullshit.
So like when you say revise, like bring it like today with like a new engine.
Yes, like completely AAA done. Like
okay. I have some things in mind.
I'm not talking about no GTA remaster bullshit.
So, okay.
I was hoping that was going to be a lot better.
Yeah.
Dude, it was bad.
not.
It was
It was just bad.
Yeah, they made
Yeah,
next
it's a
gen
new-
look terrible. Somehow they made next gen look awful.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say one right now, and it's an original Xbox game. It's a From Software game. It's called Otogi. So, back in the day before, they were into Souls games, they used to make games called Metal Armored Core, and they made 2 Otogi games. Cool thing about this Otogi game was it was so anime. You could like hit a enemy and he would fly through the map, smash through like every building, and then crater into the wall and make a huge crater. And I was like, hell yeah, this game is dope.
Dragon Ball Z, let's go.
Yeah. So that game gave you like this nice like power trip. I would love to see From Software take a crack at Otogi again, specifically. So that's
hella
one
interesting.
title right there.
All right, before you say your second one, I want Dan to tell me his first one.
All right. So honestly, it was actually one from way back in the day. I kind of have like I'll just say one now and I'll say the other one after, because there's Abe's Oddworld Adventures. I played that way back in the day, and that was honestly like an awesome game. Like I just kind of got it from, I think I got it from like a pawn shop or something, and
Of
I played it
course.
way more than I expected to.
I remember playing
You
that
oddlove.
game on demo disc and stuff like that, because it was that old of a game that it was on the old PlayStation like demo discs and stuff like that. Really good.
Yep.
But anyways, Joshua, hit me with number 2.
As I said earlier, shout out to Blinks the Time Sweeper. I would love to see
Yeah.
Blinks the Time Sweeper come back, actually, as a mascot. As a dad, for my kids. I would love to see like even like Double Fine or some company
That would be
that's
fun.
kind of into like mascot like platformers kind of take a crack at Blinks. And I feel like Blinks, especially through Double Fine after playing Psychonauts 2 especially, I feel like they could totally reinvent the look and kind of give it their kind of quirky, almost like Tim Burton-esque kind of feel to the world. I feel like that has a good opportunity, especially with the time mechanics and stuff like that. So I'd love to see Blinks come back, surprisingly.
That would be really
Yeah.
interesting. I think that would for sure be like a system seller, especially for parents that are trying to get something for their kids that's fun, but also for people that love nostalgia, bringing that stuff back. I mean, I find myself playing games like Ratchet and Clank just based off of how old that game is and how long it's been around and stuff like that. Banjo and Kazooie would be another pretty cool bring back as well. That I would
Love Banjo.
I would not mind if Double Fine did something like that, because the way they did Psychonauts 2, it just shows me that they have a lot of tools to work with.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of and a lot of minds that are going in different directions that could kind of like make you think differently than you'd initially think about a game. Like when I went into Psychonauts, I knew that it was going to be like some sort of like kind of therapeutic kind of game and whatnot. But what blew me away is how whimsical the game was at the same
yeah.
time. So like you'll be, thinking that you're walking around the corner, and then there's another corner, and there's another corner, and another corner, and the room is changing, and you're like, when am I done? Like, when is this room over? And then you end up outside, and there's like a bounce thing that you got to jump up and swing across, and just the difference between the psychological, the whimsy of it, and then also some of just like the mechanics of just bouncing around, because all in all, it is a platformer.
And the adult story, like that moment when you find out about like, okay, spoiler warnings here, but there's a moment you find out about his grandmother, actually.
Yeah.
And like, that's dark. That is some dark stuff when you find out that his family's been like manipulated to bring this lady who's actually your aunt into your family, and you think it's your mom, like, especially for his dad.
Yeah.
The fact that his mom's been dead for this long, and you've been taking care of essentially your aunt this entire time, like, that was some dark stuff. And I was very surprised the game went down that route, like, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, and then the Godzilla fight, like, that was hilarious.
Yeah. And then you get a Godzilla fight.
All right, number 2, Dan, hit me.
Honestly, the one I want to say is like one of the best classics I had way back when I was a little kid on the NES is Rampage.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, Rampage.
Yeah,
I forgot all about that game.
I love that game, and they even made like the movie with The Rock about it.
Oh, right?
Yeah,
That was so
I was
weird.
like, where did that come from?
That's unnecessary.
And you know what? You would think they would have made a game like after that or something. You know?
Yeah.
Like, where's my Rock tie-in Rampage game, right?
Yeah, I know. You gave me some crappy freaking Scorpion King game. Why can't I get a Rampage game?
Yeah, you stick them into Fortnite, but you can't give me that. So.
Yeah.
I could imagine just like a full like HD remake of it and everything, of like the original Rampage, only the first guy you pull out of every building is The Rock.
Yeah.
There you go. You grab it and it says, "If you smell," that would be
Smash
bad.
him into the building.
All right.
It's like, what happened? The Rock beat me.
I got rock bottom, and he gave me the people's elbow.
Second guy you pull out of the building is Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
know
can
he's
barely
right
see him
behind
on screen. You know.
All right, so let's go to a little bit more of a serious question. I'm gonna start out with you on this one, Mr. James. What frustrates you about gaming? In general, as a whole, like any piece of gaming, what frustrates you about it?
Frustrates me about gaming. Toxicity. You know?
Yeah. And
you can say it's more so for like online gaming, just like people being mean. Like I just like don't get that. And the whole like we console war on our show here and there and stuff like that, and like we make funny jokes, but we would never like come after someone on Twitter or anything like that, or try and like shoot any negativity.
Yeah, you're not trying to embarrass people. Maybe it's
exactly
fun to
it's
crack a
like,
joke.
oh, look at all these L's you took, you know?
Yeah, sometimes it's fun to crack a joke about the plastic, but I'm not gonna try to like tear you down as a person.
Yeah, so I feel like there's sadly a crappy stigma towards that, and that frustrates me. Also, I would say something that used to frustrate me was the high entry of the barrier of entry was super high, but like things like Game Pass are starting to break down that barrier, that high barrier. So $70 games also frustrates me.
Yeah. I mean, like,
well, not $70 in Canada, they're like $90 here.
Yeah,
dude. You know how much? Like you spend $100 on like groceries, and you look down and you're like, okay, that's at least like 2 bags less than it used to be like a year ago. So that frustrates me, like how expensive Like it's a great hobby to have, but life hits you fast, man. So.
Great answer. Fantastic. Dan.
Yep. I'd have to say probably honestly it's the way games are made and stuff. Like I wish like the developers and everything would be able to get more of a break and better pay and everything. Like I was looking for a long time to get into the industry of making games and everything, but it's hard to make that money without putting in like insane hours and everything, right? It's like the crunch time to make the games and everything. I wish they could flatten that out somehow and make it worthwhile for everybody, but
also it's unstable, right? Like
yeah.
It's so much contract work here and there. Like I went to college for gaming and looked into jobs too, but it was always like it's always temporary. Like, you know, we're all three of us are fathers. Like stability is key, pretty much, and especially today's age. So yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
Lovely. Thank you, sir. Good answer. And you know, something I'm gonna toss on top of that answer is like the whole launch date stuff that is just like it doesn't make sense anymore. Yeah. Like people will tell you, hey, we're launching in this time or we're launching this day and this month, and it's like almost like just don't even hear it anymore. Like people like especially after Stalker 2's delay, I was just like, dude, I don't want to hear another fucking launch.
Well, Ham, do you have a video possibly on your frustrations on that?
Oh yeah, yes, I do actually. I do have a little video about it, and I'm not like, and as I said in the video, I'm not mad at like developers or anything like that. It's just like the clarity between the person spending the money on it versus the people developing the game, and I feel like those two get washed away because of the people that need to make the money up top, investors and stuff like that are willing to shove out some ass like Outriders. Outriders was a great game to me. I loved that game. I thought it was a lot of fun, but there's no reason for it to come out in the state that it came out in. And same with the Ascent. Like, if you guys need extra time, and I'm not talking to developers, I'm talking to the investors and stuff like that. Like, if you guys need extra time and your team is telling you, hey, this is not ready, like, just come out front. There's no way that you waited all the way to January and you just so happen to think that it needs more polish now. There's
especially the Stalker. The Stalker one is like, what, 7 months? I'm like, that must have been like a tough pill to swallow because there's the whole Game Pass deal. So now they have this like blank spot here. So that must have been like another conversation, walking into like Microsoft office and be like, he's like, no, you tell him. He's like, no, you fucking tell him, man.
Well, Game Pass had to be, I was thinking of that exact thing. And I was thinking, you know, Game Pass probably was just like, dude, we don't need another broken game right now. Just go fix it. Yeah. And let us know when it's actually done. We already had several broken games, and one of them, you know, first party game, not even completely ready to go. Like, we don't need more flack than that. So I feel like Xbox was more fine with it than probably the developers versus the investors. I bet the investors were just pissed. They wanted their cash now. And the developers were just like, dude, we don't want to hear the backlash about this game. We want it just to go out smoothly and then just be kind of left alone so we can work on possible DLC stuff and yada yada. So, I mean, it's a messy situation with not just the makers of Stalker 2, but so many other companies like Dying Light had to push their stuff back. Horizon Forbidden West has to push their stuff back. God of War doesn't even have a release date. Redfall doesn't have a release date. I'm sitting here biting my nails like, dude, Starfield, don't do this to me. Like, you guys said 11/11/2022. Please let that be real.
Yeah,
and please
Ron,
let it not be broken.
Confident. Yeah, he seems pretty confident in that release date. Please, for Dying Light, I hope is not broken as well. You know what? Yeah. You know what I feel like has a lot to prove to not be broken on day one, surprisingly, and to kind of not hit that reputation like we keep on getting broken kind of day one release games like Outriders, is Rainbow Six next week. Like that game better not come out broken.
That's actually later this week, I believe. Or is it
yeah,
on, like Monday?
like on the 20th actually. So in like a couple days actually.
Yeah.
So I hope that game
Thursday.
for optics' sake is not a broken game.
Yeah, that
But,
and
kind of
Counter-Strike,
Ubisoft
or
is
not
kind of
Counter-Strike,
known for
but
that, right?
Crossfire X. I feel the same way about Crossfire X, because Crossfire X, what's that like? That's first party.
That's soon. Yeah,
That's first party, right?
Adjacent, kind of.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm so uncertain, because I'm just like,
it's exclusive for sure. It's a third party partnership with, isn't it like Smilegate or something like that, and Remedy and Microsoft?
yeah, I know Remedy has a big hand in it, but I just don't know how. I mean, I guess since it's exclusive, it's treated like a first party game.
I don't even know if it's coming to Game Pass. They haven't even said that.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure Crossfire X is coming to Game Pass. I'd be super surprised if they did.
They have. I'm almost positive they have not confirmed that yet, though.
All right. Well, we will see.
We will see, right? But I hope so.
All right,
Because the previews lately have not been in that game's favor, sadly.
All right. So on the opposite side of things, we just got done talking about what frustrates us. I'm kind of wondering, what's a dream come true for you in gaming as a whole?
Game Pass right now, like it's by far, I could never in my wildest dreams imagine a service like this, especially even growing up. Like, my God, like, thank God for that, because of this whole like inflation and gas costing so much money and groceries. Like,
Just at the right time with the pandemic too.
Yeah, like,
Are we sure Microsoft's not responsible?
yeah, for real. Bill Gates,
Yeah, but like, that is a dream that has came true. What is something that hasn't happened that you would like to see?
Straight up like Ready Player One. Like a realized. So okay, you know how there's this whole like everyone's complaining about NFTs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
NFTs, in my opinion, like these little stupid like cartoons and stuff, and in the form they are now, and we've had conversations like this on our podcast, they're stupid. They don't really make, well, they're not stupid, but they don't really make sense in my head. NFTs will work when a world like Ready Player One kind of exists online, where your avatar, like that shirt I buy for my avatar, that NFT kind of shirt, can scale across many worlds I go to. You know, my apartment I have in this virtual world, all those images I buy from NFTs, I can display them all on a wall here. When things like that can be realized across multiple markets, you can say, because like even in that book, Ready Player One, the whole thing, that world became more popular than the real world was because the value of their currency became more valuable than real life currency, right? Yeah. So that's what I would like to see a glimpse into coming.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, and like a nice like relation to it too is like the anime Sword Art Online. It's like the nerve gear they use in there. It's like that's like the perfect description of how I'd like kind of expect it to work. Not so much the horrifying part where it's murdering everybody, because that would be unfortunate.
You're stuck into the game.
But to have it like just like, okay, it's kind of interrupting the signals coming from your brain so that you can control yourself while just lying in a bed. And it's like it feels real and everything, and you kind of experience all of that. That would be an insane way to experience virtual reality, because I've like with the virtual reality I've got right now, it's already like it's immersive as hell.
Pretty good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, you can definitely take some L's while wearing that Oculus headset. If you're not paying attention to your barrier, or if you didn't set your barrier correctly. I've taken a
But
few L's. I put my hand through my ceiling fan, and
Broke a
that
bit of
did
my
not
chandelier.
feel
Yeah.
very good. Yep, those
There
are
it is.
those are real life experiences right there.
Yeah.
It's
But I
insane.
feel like that's where a breakthrough would happen in, like I was saying, like once like a currency in there becomes more valuable, or at least has value to it, that's where you can say NFTs will have its final form, right? When it's
Yep.
scalable, because like what, you just have like a file on your computer now? No, man. Like what I want is you guys to all come into my virtual reality apartment. I'd be like, look at all these stupid pictures I bought of Transformers or something, you know?
Or like the house you got, it's like
Original.
virtual real estate. Like you could actually
Exactly,
like
yeah.
you own the house there or whatever. Because yeah, right now it's like, yeah, I have this NFT that's worth like $12 million. It's like screenshotted. I got it too.
I feel like the world needs to be realized to make those objects desirable, right?
You see, I was actually talking to some to my co-host Loke about
Mhm.
NFTs, and I was telling him like everyone's really worried about what it can do in the video game world. I don't feel that kind of thing when I hear about NFTs and whatnot. I think of what it can do outside of gaming, and although some of it seems really cool, some of it also seems kind of scary when you start bringing in like government and laws and everything like that, because as you were just saying, I own this digital media, and then someone swipes their phone and screenshots it or something like that.
Yeah.
At what point are we gonna start processing this digital content as if it was like plagiarism, to where you could, to where you screenshot it and that person gets alerted that, hey, somebody just screenshotted, just like you do when you're like when you're on like
Snapchat or whatever,
Yeah. You take a screenshot of it and somebody's texting you like, what the fuck you just screenshot?
Next thing you know, you got a lawsuit
Well,
coming.
Yeah.
I think NCA comes down to that, like that space being realized. If I take a screenshot, I shouldn't be able to bring it into the world like that. I don't know.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I hear what you're saying. Like basically, like if it's a virtual world, you say you have like a virtual house or whatever, you want to hang a virtual picture on your wall. It's like, okay, that like whole thing will, like that video, that game world will actually detect and understand that, okay, this image needs to have its own like tag with it, like its own NFT
Yeah,
tag.
its own code. Yeah.
And if it doesn't have that NFT tag, it's not allowed in the game, sort of thing. So like you could screenshot it, sure, and you could have it on your phone as a background or something like that, but you can't have it in your virtual house. Like
Yeah.
it gives it real actual value and everything, because you're actually living and experiencing in that world and everything. So you can
Yeah.
actually, like, you know, hang a picture on a wall. It's a Monet or whatever. It's registered and verified that it's a real
Yeah.
Monet, whatever the hell it is or whatever. Or
because
you know,
it wouldn't be
famous-
allowed in that world. Like everything in the world would have to have a digital tag to
Yeah.
it to make it worth it, right? At all. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it.
My interest is, I wonder who's gonna be the sacrificial lamb. Who's gonna go out there and just be like, I'm NFTing it up over here. Hate me all you want, like Square Enix or something. I could see Square Enix being like, fuck everybody, NFTs, or
Super game.
I think it's going to
just
be
something
less
like
that and more of a point where companies start to come together, and it's like, okay, you buy like this shirt for your avatar here or whatever. It can transfer over into all these different games.
Right. But
Yeah,
my
like-
biggest worry is like, I'm wondering like, who is gonna be officiating this? Because
Oh, yeah.
if you
It's the Wild West.
cut,
right?
well, it can only be wild for so long, and then
Exactly.
and then one government or another is gonna not only put their foot down, but they're gonna wreck
Tax
a
it.
lot of like they're gonna
China,
F
man.
shit
China's going
up,
to be
you
the
know what I'm
first one
saying?
to
They're
do.
gonna mess everything up and then make it harder, and then people are gonna being like, well, NFTs were cool, but now they're hard to deal with, and they're turning into what microtransactions started out as, way too much, but not beneficial enough to call itself worth it. The only thing that I don't really have a problem with is in NFTs, and the same thing with microtransactions, is I'm not going to spend money. I vote with my wallet. I just won't buy it.
Exactly.
I just won't buy it if I don't like it. So all these people complaining about, oh, I don't want NFTs in my game, or NFTs are going to ruin the game. And it's just like, if you really feel that way, just don't buy it. Like, if you don't like it, don't buy it. But I know that if there's NFTs in a game, but I'm like, man, that game, the gameplay looks fire. I mean, it looks really fun. I can see myself replaying it. I can still buy that game and play it without paying for any NFTs.
Yeah.
If I'm playing as somebody else's face in a game, what does it matter to me? Nobody told me what Aloy's face was going to look like before somebody drew it up, or somebody, used somebody's facial likeness or whatnot. Nobody asked me about any of this stuff. So why would I care that somebody wants to pay money to do that? That's not my money. I don't care. They do whatever they want with their money.
I think it would be an upgrade to microtransactions, because right now, with all the microtransactions, like the microtransactions we're already getting right now, it's like, okay, like this piece of armor comes on sale on this game or whatever. It's like, okay, there's just like now there's like 100,000 people with the same armor that you just paid real money for and everything. It's like, it's still not actually unique to you or anything. If you could start making it unique to me, then, it feels like it's worth the money more. Like, I've never really been one to spend money on microtransactions when you're not actually getting like your own personal thing out of it. Somebody walks by wearing the same armor set, you're like, oh, well, that's kind of lame.
Right. We were talking about that. We were saying like the outrageous pricing in the Halo shop right now. I'd be like, okay, if that, let's say, item that you're selling me there is $20, but let's say there's only 200 of it, maybe I would feel better that I could sell that after the fact. So imagine like all those people who play games for years and years and years, and then just stops playing that game, and then it's like it's all gone. It's off their and they're not using any of that stuff anymore. I would like to be able to sell all that stuff to a person who still plays the game, right?
Right.
So
that's just it. You invest all your time and everything into something like that, you'd want to be able to, make some money back on it.
For sure. All right. Well, we better move on because we're running out of time. So one of the last questions I'm going to ask is, what do each of you guys enjoy outside of gaming?
Well, I love campfires.
Okay, Josh, you like long walks on the beach?
Only if you're there, bud.
I feel needed.
What I like doing outside of, I like comics. I haven't read comics in a long time, but essentially, like, I like looking into a lot of tech stuff and spending time with my kids right now. That's probably the best time I have, is spending time with the kids.
Yeah, you got a long list of things that you like, and Dan over here just wants a campfire.
Yeah.
I mean, to elaborate more, like I'm up pretty far north Canada, so we got lots of woods around here and everything. We go for some hikes by the waterfalls, and
I bet it's beautiful out there, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm in the city, where Dan used to live.
It doesn't sound as beautiful.
Toronto,
it can be.
It's a mixed bag. Me and Dan, we've known each other since we were teenagers. We lived with each other for a long time, and we have a history for sure.
There is a good history, it sounds like. But
yeah.
What's something that's fun about one of you guys that nobody really knows?
Fun about one of us that no one really knows.
Like about you, Josh. What's fun about you that nobody would even look at you and assume that you like? It's a fun question. I always make everybody's eyes move around when I ask these questions. Something
fun that I don't know, man. That's hard to say.
Dan, are you
Oh.
just as stumped?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because like I could come up with a few different things, but it's not necessarily totally unexpected from me because I'm just a giant nerd. So, like
Yeah,
I
right?
play Magic the Gathering, like at least like I used to, like when I had money to spend on that. But I don't know. Video game design. I used to be a programmer.
Oh, okay.
I used to draw a lot, so I can draw actually. I have a ton of like drawings from when I was like in college, and I was really good at like drawing like life models and stuff like that. So, but okay, a unique thing about me, I grew up in the comic book industry. So my dad was a comic book writer. I grew up going to comic conventions a lot. So nerdy stuff, right? So naturally, I kind of got
me into
video
comics.
games. Got you into comics. I kind of got behind the scenes look at a lot of Canadian comic book industry stuff. My dad started the Joe Shuster Canadian Comic Book Creator Awards in Canada that I think still goes on to this day. He's not much a part of it anymore. But yeah, I'd say the fun, unique thing about me is I know a lot about comics, but not just because I like them, it's because I grew up with them. Like I grew up in that world with the artists and like the writers and actually like talking to them and knowing them and being there with them.
That is really interesting. Love that. And then
Yeah. I have I guess like yeah, if you were to say anything else otherwise there, like I mean, I'm really good at building things. I've done a lot of carpentry and like woodworking, tile installation. I could basically just build you an entire house.
that's badass, dude.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that why
He's
you
really
live in
good
the
at that.
sticks right now? You had to build yourself something out there?
A little bit. Like our house we actually bought is it's going to be turning 100 when while we're living here. So it's like 98 right now.
Oh,
And
Lord.
my parents just bought some property up here, so we're building a whole bunch of stuff for them. We just
Oh,
put in
that's
a
really cool.
massive steel garage with like 6,000 bolts in it.
Oh my god.
Oh
And
You would think Dan is like the handyman, but Dan is quite the handyman.
yeah.
You know?
All right. Well,
He's ripped underneath his shirt, like, and just covered in prison tattoos. It's kind of
Prison
outrageous.
that's prison
Covered in prison
Dan.
tattoos. Yeah, you can't
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
but my ass has so many tattoos. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, that's what I had to practice on somewhere. So
Oh my god. That just hit me. Anyways, last thing I'm gonna ask you guys before I kick you out of here is I want you and whoever wants to go first, describe gaming for me in just 3 words.
I would say joy, community, and like it's problem solving, like one, but joy, community, and mystery. Like, yeah, joy, community, mystery.
All right.
I have to say, quality time spent.
Ooh, his
That's a good
rolled. His rolled. He had time
Like,
to
I'm
think
just-
about it for a minute, and Josh was on this. Josh was on the spot.
Yeah, I had a couple of seconds, but like I've had that argument before. It's just like somebody's like, "Oh, well, why would you spend that time on like a virtual world? Doesn't really matter, or whatever." It's like, it's quality time spent. I mean, it's something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It's something that like makes me feel good. So it's quality time.
That's the
spent.
tagline for our show now going forward. Quality time spent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I thank you to Dan, Joshua. I wish we could have got number 3 in here, but we but he's off being a
Next time,
a big man making the big bucks and doing big things.
Mr. Hollywood.
Yeah, Mr. Hollywood out there. doing
It's
his
so
thing.
he'll be on this week's show. So Friday will be his last show for a while. It'll be interesting not knowing he will be, we've done episodes where it's just me and Dan a lot, but we always knew Andrew would be coming back, like maybe in like a week or two, but it'll be just me and Dan for a while. So
no worries. Well, I'll definitely stop by on Friday to say see you later to Andrew before he makes his departure. But anyways, as I said before, thanks you guys for being here. Means a lot. You. First time I had multiple people on this episode of Behind Them Sticks. If you guys enjoyed and liked what you guys just got done watching, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. I'm gonna have all their stuff in the description, so you can definitely go check out the Xbox North podcast. Really good guys. Recently did an episode with Big Plume and whatnot. I highly recommend.
That episode kind of blew up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. So congratulations on that. But anyways, I'm out of here. Ham Solo's out from Behind Them Sticks. See you later.
Have a good one, guys.
Do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!